goes balls, 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 and I'm like, oh my gosh, like how much more gay promotion do I need to not be single anymore, right? So I'm like, even like walking up to people, I'm like, you guys, the song is like, balls, that's because of me, balls guys, like, it's just kind of like, it's so weird to be like in this like club where it's like very, very late at night, people are, I don't know if they're drunk or whatever, I don't know them, and they're all like into like this very like heavy like, electro kind of trance music, and it's going balls, 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 and I'm like, guys, my balls, like, and stuff like that, It's not like it's made a difference to my single life or anything, right? But anyway, so, I've been single forever, so I've been quite independent, usually with a lot of things I've done. Even traveling. I've traveled alone, literally, my whole adulthood, except for some time in like my late 20s where I made a friend for a period of like, I would say like a cliff where just whatever, just you can't see what goes, they go like down or whatever, it's like the slope, they just go. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like these guys are like lemmings at that point, they're just one by one going shoot, 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 like off this like cliff or whatever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I really, really wanted to lemming, but I don't know how to ski at this point, and I'm terrified and everything. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're all so amazing. Look at them all lemming in this way. So I, on the other hand, just am like, where are the stairs? So I'm like looking for the stairs in this like, masterclass ski resort or whatever. And finally I find them. So it's just kind of like, I know those are certain things, like, like, wow, you have like a regenerative penis or whatever, I'm like, well, it's like, what do I say, right? Like I am human. I don't know, like that's more of kind of like, what do you call it? Like it's kind of like when like it gets injured and then it heals and then it's just kind of like a training. My penis had just an awkward training phase. Maybe that's the best way to put it. Just my penis was trained in a different way than everyone else's penis. Most people's penis trained by sex, and I never hardly have sex ever. So I think that's, most of my hair just like shed. You know what I mean? It's like, like it's as if like some of us, like it's just walking, it's like people don't see, but just like walking, like, I could be like, like trailing, hair could be trailing off my arms and legs just as I'm walking, there's a whole trail of hair now, you know what I mean? Just simple walking, and there's like a whole trail of hair there, you know what I mean? Some of us just like drip hair. I'm literally dripping hair, like it's just how my body and my system works, Tired of the exodus, you guys. This is the worst exodus ever. I mean, like, I haven't been through the actual biblical exodus, like, back in, like, whatever BC days those were. But, like, this is a really fucking bad exodus. This is a really stressful exodus. I am so upset with the exodus. Like, if I had my rights, my lawyer would deal with whoever, like God. My lawyer will deal with God regarding this exodus abuse. It's true. If I had my rights, I would send my lawyer to deal with God regarding this exodus abuse. I don't know how to respond to this at times, so try to be polite, like, they're doing these boogeyman gestures. I'm like, oh, do you need a tissue, sort of thing. Sometimes they're like caught off guard, and like, I think you need a tissue. They're like, no, we don't need a tissue. I'm like, you just did a boogeyman gesture. Are you sure you don't want a tissue at this point, So it's just one of those things. I was like, oh my gosh, if I had like a superpower at this point, it would be like walking around being like, dispense, and like a tissue comes out of my like sleeve. It's gonna be like that. Like literally after I just get out of a little bit of like the controlled environment or whatever, just really approach the world and they're like, oh my god, there's mucus there's mucus everywhere. I'm starting swearing a lot. It's very stressful. This is Italy. This is outside George Clooney's house. No, I didn't go in. The lights weren't on. But it's okay. I mean, like, we were just right there. I didn't want to enter when the lights weren't on, right? Just one of those things. I was trying to be a polite, visitor to his house by not entering when the lights weren't on, right? Anyway. So, yeah, that's kind of what, like, it's so, that's how I sort of, like, verify myself to people nowadays, Because it's like, a simple identification on your ID is not enough because of well, you all know, like, the many years of double speaking, gaslighting, and exploitation, right? So I have to be like, see, like, like, showing him my phone with, like, little, like, every Instagram post, like, oh, wait, like, this one, like, on this date, go down some more, be like, you seen that movie, that's from this, and, oh my god, no, I didn't get anything, oh no, I don't know, I wasn't paid, no, that's from this, and, oh my god, no, I didn't get anything, oh no, I don't know, I wasn't paid, no, I guess it was a nice movie, I don't enjoy the slavery. No, not very much. That's why I need a drink. Can I come in now? That's kind of like what it's like outside a bar sometimes, It must have been like, I probably like curled like my hair that day with a curling iron or something, like trying to make excuses for why this hair is not like the other straight hair that has fallen off my body, why this one particular patch of hair is extremely similar to something like that we don't like at times to be around, called pubic hair. Why was that hair not straight like the others if it wasn't pubic hair? Because I was curling. I wasn't really, because I've never done anything like that, but because I must have I don't know, it must have been like, what's it called, like a stray. It was a stray hair. That's why it was like that. It didn't fall in line with the other straight hair. It wasn't a straight hair, it was a stray hair. The truth was, it was pubic hair. It was probably pubic hair. But it's how it is when you're dripping hair. So show, they're sitting next to me at a show or something like that, some sort of situation like that. I have to be like, oh, by the way, I talk, like literally announcing I have the ability to speak. Like, I have a sense. I have one of my senses that's working fine. Yes, I can speak. Yes, I talk. I just wanted to make that known to everyone on the row. So, hi, I talk. Hi, I'm Nick. I talk. Just something. What's it called? What's a fun fact about you? What's some crazy trivia about you or something? Like, hi, I'm Nick and I talk, you guys. Like, that's my fun fact. Like, I talk. I open my mouth and I like say these things that called words, and they like come out of my mouth and stuff like that. And you all hear them, but sometimes you pretend you don't. And I don't know if that's very nice, you guys. But just so you all know, I talk, and I don't talk just a little bit. I talk a lot. I love like an expensive, like, what's it called? Like a skincare serum. I'm like using it however often, and I'm looking at it every day, so precious, as if it was the hourglass to my life. And I'm like, oh my god, there's only 3 drops left of this youth serum, and then I'm going to age every day unless I get my freedom. Like, what happens when I get to the last drop of my serum and the embassy has not called? You know what I mean? That is such a fear. That is a legit fear. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh my god, like, what happens if I get to the last drop of my freaking anti-aging serum and the embassy hasn't called because I can't get any more? You know what I mean? Like, oh my god, like, that's stress. And I just want to reiterate regarding the whole single stuff. It's like, we are not, like, being single at this age or whatever, like, it's not like some sort of mythical creature. I'm not the abominable snowman just because I'm single. It's not like they have to look at me as if like, oh my god, he exists, the single man. Like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? Like, it's